So, hi everyone. I am glad you're here today. We are talking about leaky gut today. Let's see here. They've changed everything. I was just getting used to their lives on this platform through Facebook, and they've changed things. So I am not quite sure where I am. I'm not quite sure what's going on, and I'm just winging it like I always do. So, welcome to Tuesday, the last day of March. We are what, day 15 or 16 of our isolation right now. So I'm hoping that a few of you can join us because we do have a little bit of time to waste. No, not that it's wasted time. It's always good time. It's time that's put in for a reason. And if you've followed any of my lives in the past, you do know that I like to talk. And when I start talking about stuff, it tends to go on for a while. So I'm trying to not make this so long today, but it is such an interesting subject to me anyways. And there is a lot of information that comes along with it. So, I mean, you may want to just bookmark this video and come back to it at a later date and, go through it like that at another time. And if you end up missing it, I do have them posted over on my YouTube channel, which is the same name, Nutritional Solutions, over on YouTube. So you can catch them all there. And I post a lot of my older ones as well there too. Sometimes the subjects tend to be a little bit the same, but because they're always done at different times, there's different aspects of the presentations and little aspects of the chats as well. So today, leaky gut. As a functional nutritionist, leaky gut, um, from my perspective, um, this is one of the things that is very much prevalent for most people. And I mean, I love the gut. I love everything about it. I love the way it works, the functionality of it, the intricacies of it, the energetic and spiritual aspects of it from a very energetic or what do they call it, psychosomatic perspective. These things just fascinate me beyond like. But because there's, like I said, 1,000 different things that we could talk about with regards to the gut, I don't want to get into all of them. I know you guys are pretty much, pretty well knowledged about a lot of these things. So like I said, I don't want to, get into the high tech or the high biological end of things with this. But I do want to just give a basic overview, first of all, before I get into some of the other things. And this is when it comes to leaky gut, leaky gut is actually the old word for it. What leaky gut is called now is called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. So SIBO, and I'll put it in the comments here. SIBO is like that because at first uh, leaky gut was not really something that they believed was actually a thing. And until the scientists, the big guys out there, really were able to put a name to it or any kind of scientific backing with it, we just called it leaky gut. But now they actually have some scientific, really deep researched knowledge with regards to it. And they've given it this technical term, which is SIBO, which is that small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And essentially, and oh goodness, it's not going to let me do it. Let me see here for a second. I don't know if I'm able to. I wanted to share my screen. I was going to go through. Oh, I can. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen with you here in a flash, and I'm going to show you. Let's see here. I'm going to show you just a little. What do you call it? Picture. Okay. See if I can find it here. Essentially, leaky gut is something that is caused by a lot of different things. It is caused by poor diet mainly, and this is one of the things that let's see here. I'm just going to see if I can share this with you. So this is a picture of leaky gut versus a healthy gut. So you'll see here in the picture, it shows the villi, the intestinal mucosal cells, and they're coming up like little fingers. And this is the inside of our gut. This is what lines all of our intestine. And the picture on the left is the healthy gut situation. Whereas we look at the leaky gut situation on the right, and we see that the tight junctions have an opening between them. And this allows for food sensitivities, different undigested proteins, from poor diet choices, yeast, toxins, and all these different things to be allowed to pass into the bloodstream, which is down on the bottom here. So we have immune cells, pathogens, antibodies, partially digested nutrients that haven't been fully digested, and situations like that are not have been allowed to go into the bloodstream, where they flow through our system, they become very toxic, and our body reacts to it as a result. So we get different things like inflammation, which could lead to an insulin resistance, because I'm a lot about weight and inflammation and these different situations. This is where a lot of my knowledge goes towards. So leaky gut situation is the underlying cause, and then we get into a system where the body becomes very inflamed. And then we get to a system where we have insulin resistance because that inflammation, the pancreas isn't working properly, the insulin isn't uptaking the glucose properly, so we have an increase of blood sugar in our system, and then we end up having too much. Uh, we end up becoming obese because of it and having a weight problem because of it. And it's not because you haven't worked out. It's not because you are eating totally bad foods, and maybe initially, but the thing is, it's gotten to a point where the gut has got a lot of issues, and we're looking at a SIBO situation. And when we go to try to lose weight, it makes it very, very difficult because our bodies are not processing things properly. And even though you're eating properly and you're exercising and you're doing your meditation and you're doing your mindful work, your mindset work, we're still not losing weight. And it really having to deal with a situation from a perspective of gut issues is what we need to really work with to begin with. And when we look at a SIBO situation, it is essentially looking at many different aspects, but it does come down to really cleansing the body, and then really healing the gut, and activating the proper immune system in our body, enhancing the things that we do have once we get things cleansed, and then really, really restoring all of the proper nutrients and things that we need in our body for this healing to happen. We want to reduce the inflammation at all times in our system. And this, brings out a potential for an elimination diet. We really, it comes down to what's on the outside works on the inside. So what we put in our bodies is essentially how it's going to affect us. Our digestive system starts in our mouth. Actually, it starts before our mouths intuitively, and just as a reflex system. When we smell and we see food, we have an automatic reflex of our salivary glands to start working. And that is the beginning of the digestive process, even before we put the food into our mouth. And then once we put the food under our mouth, from there to the elimination through our rectum, this whole process is our digestive system. But then we also have the connection with every other part of our body as a result. And the gut is one of the major places in our bodies that is the beginning and end of many diseases in our lives. So if you know anything about what I do for a living, or as a functional nutritionist, is I do work with people with regards to weight loss and weight loss situations. But at the same time, as a functional nutritionist, I dive heavily into root causes for a lot of ailments, as well as preventative ailments as well. So when we have a situation that is, we're looking at a leaky gut situation, this can be the beginning of many other issues in your life, and not necessarily just a weight issue. But when we have that leaky gut situation, we are allowing the sorry, my brain is then I'll get to that in a second. It's that brain fog. When we have our gut like this, we want a semi-permeable membrane because we want the good nutrients to get through the holes here. But when we have a leaky gut situation, the holes are a lot bigger because the membrane, the intestinal membrane, has become inflamed and disrupted, and those junctions have been opened. So we end up having undigested particles of food going through. We have toxins that go through, immune dysregulators, all these different things that can make it very, very difficult for our body. And when we have all these things that go through, they disrupt many, many different areas of our body too. So ultimately, they will cause a lot of uh, inflammation in the body. And it can, disrupt a lot of different systems, including um, giving us issues, something like migraine headaches and allergies and eczema and hives and autoimmune disorders. I mean, you're going to have a myriad of different manifestations of what is happening through the leaky gut, essentially because we are all biologically different. We all have different genetic markers. We all have um, genetic different dispositions, and depending upon what you your genetic makeup is and what you're predisposed to, that information will manifest into something along that lines. So you're looking at things that could happen, food sensitivities and allergies can manifest through that. You can look towards maybe a malnutrition or some sort of dysbiosis, a toxin overload. Autoimmune disorders can come as a result from that. And one of the big ones, thyroid disease, Hashimoto's, which really attacks our own thyroid and can really have a big resulting factors as a result of something underlying like leaky gut. Um, it gets pretty complicated with the whole situation. And it can be when we have a lot of symptoms like bloating or indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, these things we think, okay, associated with the gut right away. And then we go, okay, well, we have to heal the gut. We have to, change our diet, incorporate some supplements to really help clean up that gut, reduce our inflammation, all these different things. But then we also can get symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, migraine headaches. Let me see what else. Brain fog. And this is where we think about, we don't have that correlation. We don't have that connection with our gut. I've had many clients come in and do a nutritional consult with our live blood, and I can see in the live blood picture very much a picture of leaky gut situation. And through their assessment protocol or assessments, shows me really a big gut dysbiosis. But they say, well, I have nothing wrong with my gut, my digestion is good, I can eat whatever I want. But they're presenting with a lot of other different issues that are very much gut related and underlying. And this is where a lot of the misconception comes in. The gut essentially, and I mean, it's been said for, thousands upon thousands of years, that the gut is the basis or the beginning of all disease. I think Hippocrates had said that in the beginning, and it's one of these things that we really have to be quite be aware of. And just getting back to something along the lines of brain fog. Now we have what is called like the brain gut brain connection. I'm not going to get into the there goes my brain again. I'm not going to get into the mood enhancing issues with regards to serotonin, even though the gut is where serotonin is produced, a large portion of it. But I'm just even thinking from the perspective of the fact that we have this major nerve that runs through our body called the vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve runs from our brain, interconnects all the way through our digestive system, all the way down to, I'm not quite sure exactly where it ends, but it ends down in our legs somewhere. And this vagus nerve is essentially one of the biggest nerves that we have in our brain, and it helps to um, send messages like those neurotransmitters. They're going back and forth all over the place, and it actually is one of the ones that signals to the gut that oh, I'm just reading my notes here because I want to get it straight. um, it signals to the gut that when we are in too much stress, to turn off the digestive enzymes, the stomach acid, and protein, which ultimately results in decreased protein digestion, and peristalsis, to slow down. Peristalsis is the gut movement, or the movement of the fecal matter, or the chime in the gut. It's just a wave-like motion. But when the vagus nerve is not working properly, and due to stress mostly, it doesn't give those signals out, and then we have a disruption in those situations. A lot of my clients that have a tendency to be constipated for no other reason, has gone through a proper diet, is doing all the things possible. They're drinking properly, they're taking their probiotics, they're doing everything that they can think of to have a proper digestive process, but still are chronically constipated. Then we look at something along the lines of a vagus nerve disruption, and then we work towards stimulating that vagus nerve, that and different things like that, that really, that gut communicates with the brain on those different levels, for sure. And there was a study that I just heard about the other day, that somebody that has a traumatic brain injury, within 30 minutes will have a leaky gut situation, because of the whatever communication that's going on between the brain and the gut. Right away, the gut is affected very dramatically, even if there was no injury or anything that has remotely close to the gut. But if somebody has a traumatic brain injury, like I said, it really does affect the gut really, really fast. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes here. I just want to make sure, because like I said, there is so much information with regards to the brain gut connection, the psychospiritual aspect of, if you want to look at from a yogic perspective, or looking at the energy centers of the body, we have this third chakra, which is sitting right underneath the rib section, so really in the gut section, and the second chakra actually as well. And these are the centers for a lot of our psychosocial situations, a feeling of butterflies in our intuitive situations. And then when we have issues with our intuition, or not feeling very well, we get upset stomachs. It manifests into a very physical aspect. I'm getting a little bit offside of the whole leaky gut situation, but I mean, you understand that there is a potential for a lot of disruptive situations when it comes to that permeability. So just getting back to where I started, like rolling it right back, the connection between leaky gut and weight is one of the major ones that I deal with on a regular basis, because this is where my clients are coming from. They're just not able to lose the weight. Their hormones are all out of whack, because, I usually work with women of a certain age, and we get to a point in our lives where menopause is setting in, that that slows our metabolism down. Excuse me. We end up gaining weight around the center, which ends up being almost like another endocrine system in itself, because of the metabolizing of the Just simply because of the metabolizing activity that goes on within that system, within the that fat layer, in the visceral fat that goes on in our midsection, and it just becomes like a snowballing effect, and we tend to end up becoming very discouraged and very upset, and not knowing where to turn to. So this is how I work with a lot of my clients with regards to leaky gut. And or weight issues. And essentially it comes down to pretty much doing the same situation. So looking towards an elimination diet. So I know I can actually hear your eyes rolling at this point. Elimination diet has a very specific purpose. It removes the allergens and the sensitivities from your diet and allows the body to really begin the healing process. It not only will bring about a very healthy caloric intake as well, it'll eliminate the foods that are very hard on the body. So sugar, one of the biggest culprits, and one of the ones that really has a lot to do with a lot of the major issues in our system, including inflammation. Dairy, another one that is very, very hard on the body to digest. And so many people have underlying issues with dairy as well. Gluten, big one, because of the, we have become desensitized essentially to, and sort of put up with the feelings that we get when we have too much gluten in our system. And we don't realize that a lot of our issues are stemming from a sensitivity to gluten. So I ask my clients to remove gluten. I ask my clients to reduce the use of red meat and pork. And these will essentially, there's a few other ones as well, but these four are the four big ones. I mean, there's soy and nuts and all these different ones as well too that are very hypoallergenic to the system, or not even hypo. They could be hypoallergenic and give you that underlying low um, uh, oh my goodness, there's the brain again. That underlying low allergy reaction to it all the time. So you could have just like a very mild reaction going on at all times and not really understand that this is what's causing the SIBO. This is what's causing the constipation, the bloating, the gas, or the skin rash, or the thin hair, or the weight gain, or all these different things, the mood swings that are underlying, and you're not realizing that it is just something that you've put up with for years, and realize that you don't realize that what a major problem it is actually. So sugar, gluten, dairy, red meat, and pork. And like I said, these are essentially the ones that I ask my clients to remove for a while to see how things are, to see what happens within their system, within their lives, within their moods, within their whole spiritual entity of who they are, a physical entity. And, and that's basically the beginning. I ask my clients to incorporate some probiotics. Probiotics are a major thing that is so very important for us to be having. Leaky gut, stress, poor diets in general push the good bacteria out of our system, and the bad bacteria have a chance to flourish, and with the inclusion of rotting flesh, so your meats that are very hard to digest, especially if you have a low stomach acid. That's like another manifestation of everything else that's going on, because low stomach acid and low digestive enzymes can come from stress situations. So we have undigested proteins being shoved into our small intestines, and because they're large in the beginning, they're large pieces, comparatively, they sit and they rot in our gut, which that increase of bad bacteria will eat away at the intestinal wall, causing that leaky gut situation or that hyperpermeability. So it's like a cascading effect. So we try to take out the red meats and decrease meats altogether. Not altogether, but I mean, decrease them and look for alternative to protein intake. So, having chicken once in a while, having fish once in a while, not at every meal, and looking towards plant-based proteins during the process. So getting back to the probiotics, because of those things that I mentioned causing a lot of bacterial, the SIBO, the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that's the bad bacteria overgrowth. It pushes out the good bacteria. So we want to reintroduce the good bacteria. And at the same time, we want to be incorporating foods that will give us the prebiotics, which will feed the probiotics and keep that wonderful concoction going to keep the numbers of the bad bacteria down and begin to heal the gut. This kind of process is something that's ongoing. I think unless you're the type of person to really have no issues whatsoever, incorporating some probiotics on a short-term interim would be ideal. But I think 99% of my clients, we're human. We are going to have bouts where we're not going to eat properly. We're going to have bouts where we have too much stress. We're going to have bouts where this, that, and the other thing is happening, which is just human nature. So having a probiotic in your diet is something that I suggest an ongoing situation. Going to want to make sure that we incorporate vitamins D and A. D is very much important beyond taking in fresh and beautiful sunshine on our skin for about 15 to 20 minutes of unprotected skincare, but also as a supplement because it is so essential for our immune health. Vitamin A is going to be so very important for healing properties. So I know that there's a school of thought out there that says, oh, well, no, we just want to have, eat the right foods and you'll be fine. Well, no, especially because most of us have guts that are not 100%. And the foods that we take in nowadays are not, are very much depleted of the nutrients that we need. And you would have to eat, goodness, plates and plates of kale to get, calcium. You would have to eat plates and plates of yellow peppers to get as much vitamin A that you need into your system. You would have to eat plates and plates of carrots to get, I believe it's vitamin A again, or whatever nutrient that you're trying to get out of the vegetables. Plates and plates and plates and plates and plates of it. When we can actually take a multivitamin or an isolate into our system when we need it to bring our levels up, to heal properly, and then maintain from there through proper diet. We're going to want to increase and take a supplement of a an omega-3 fatty acids. So while we are looking at incorporating our healthy fats through our diets, we also want to make sure that we're incorporating enough into our system from a supplement perspective to be able to heal and fix that leaky gut. L-glutamine, very, very important for intestinal cell repair and to repair those tight junctions. And it's like healing and sealing and healing and sealing. Yes. We want to close them up anyways. And L-glutamine is one of those really wonderful ones that can be very good for healing those up as well. but you also want to look at the psycho-spiritual aspect of everything as well. So it's not just a physical aspect. And if anybody's talked to me for any length of time, you know that it's physical, it's mental, as well as spiritual as well. So we want to look at incorporating some mindfulness practices. And again, I can hear the eyes rolling at this point, because we all know it, and we all know that we have to slow down in this, this period of time right now. We have slowed down. We have been forced to slow down. And I believe it is going to be have amazing ramifications with regards to our psychosocial aspect, because we are becoming closer to our families. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But I mean, we have been forced to slow down and take a few moments to really think about our lives, take a few deep breaths, relax, rest. Sleep is so very important. People don't realize the and that's another big topic about how important sleep is, and you think sleep is just sleep, but no, sleep is so very important, and it's part of that restorative and healing process that we have to go through. And of course, those stress reduction techniques of perhaps yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, guided meditations, prayer, even just diaphragmatic breathing. If you don't want to get into the whole spiritual end of things, and there's no reason why you have to, just taking a few minutes and learning some diaphragmatic breathing techniques is going to be amazing to be able to help that energetic center to decrease the cortisol levels that are just, going crazy in our body, causing inflammation. And I mean, everything is so interconnected in our bodies and our lives that it is so very important to have a balance between them all, because when you have one or two, that's it, you're missing the third, and so you're going to be off balanced. I'm not saying that, we're always going to be in balance all the time. It's always going to be a fluctuation. It's always going to be a variation of all the three. And for those of you that do follow me, you know that it's mind, menu, and movement. And these three aspects are all equally important. And like I said, if one is depleted or is down low or off slightly, then it does affect the other two. And like I said, it's nice to have a nice fluctuation between the three. I just need one more hand here. And that's the whole story, is the balance between everything. But really, when it comes down to the leaky gut situation, or the SIBO, really take a good look and see what your issues might be. I'm not even going to dive into the whole immune system situation, which, this day and age, I think we get slapped on the hands if we talk a little bit too much about the immune system. But the immune system is it's the first line of defense. And when we have a leaky gut situation, that defense line is broken, and the toxins are able to intoxify our body. And those undigested food particles that are fermenting, and what is that word I'm looking for? They're fermenting and putrefying. I wanted to find a gross word. They're basically rotting in our system and causing a lot of putrefaction in our bodies. And it's what the smell of rotting flesh smells like. We've all smelled it at one point, and that's going on in our system, and that causes a lot of disruption with our white blood cell formation and the antibodies and all these different things that can cause issues like irritable bowel, or even just making you run to the toilet, or having a reaction to foods. These are all situations that can be, you know, managed and fixed, and talking to your medical doctor and talking to your nutritionist, your functional nutritionist, and getting to the bottom, underlying reasons why you might have, like I said, these headaches, these skin eruptions, autoimmune issues. I mean, it can go a lot further into very much metabolic syndrome, which you're looking at obesity, different things like, I'm just pulling up my book here, insulin resistance, diabetes, heart disease, coronary heart disease, stroke, different things like this are possible from underlying issues. So if you are predisposed to, say, diabetes through your genetic makeup, you want to really look at healing and at least managing underlying issues, so that that genetic makeup doesn't express itself into a disease process. And that's essentially what I do. It is not that simple, and I get it. And it can be a process, but that's what I do. That's what I really want to help people come to that realization through seemingly simple steps, but at the same time, um, things that are difficult as well. I mean, because we have a lot of different reasons why we are the way we are. A lot of them are not our faults. Society in itself doesn't promote preventative medicine. Society doesn't promote you to eat healthy vegetables and fruits. Society doesn't promote you to decrease smoking, and, well, smoking, yes, but decrease uh, sugar intake. It doesn't, because the underlying issue a lot of times is money, and they don't care about us as an individual, or a holistic person that's, biological and biologically unique, and an entity unto ourselves. They look at the big picture, where it comes down to money, and it comes down to, oh my goodness, I've really gone on a tangent here. Not what I wanted to talk about, but it does come down to a lot of that stuff, though. I mean, and you really have to take the reins and take a hold of your own health, and understand, again, I am simply a guide to be able to give you the information that you need to do the things you need to do to get to a better place within your health. Um, I can't do the work for you, but I can give you the roadmap that you need to get to where you need to be. Okay, 40 minutes in, and I'm going to stop it there, because that's probably longer than I wanted to talk. If you have any questions, please reach out, okay? I'm here. I'm at home too. I'm sitting in front of the computer. Reach out to me, ask me questions, talk to me, argue with me if you want. I don't really like to argue, but I will debate. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it, and I will find the right information and make sure that everybody has that right information. If I've said something that does hurt you, or if I've done something or said something that is incorrect, please let me know. I'm always open for bettering myself and my information, and the information that I have and want to give to everybody. Stay tuned, because I have a few things coming out in the next little while. I'm looking at the dates right now and thinking about ramping up my New You program, my 6-week healthy eating program that will address a lot of these issues, especially for my girls that are in their 50s, in their perimenopause and menopausal years, that are finding it very difficult to get motivation to lose weight, finding it difficult and motivation to love themselves enough to be able to lose weight, to get some joyful movement into their lives, to accept the bodies that we have aged into gracefully. And that's basically what that program is about. And yeah, and over the next month, I don't know if you've seen it or not, I'm not going to be doing talks on specific subjects, but what I'm going to be doing is interviewing my girls. Dana Irvine, Darlene Tyndall, and Dawn Condon and myself are the Wellness Warriors, and we are a group of healthcare professionals, all of different modalities and specialties, and we have come together as a group of professionals that really have a deep desire to bring our message to you guys, to make all these options and different, our goal is to make sure that you guys are healthy. And through yoga, energy, life coaching, hormonal health, digestive health, healthy eating. I do live blood analysis. My girlfriend Dana does thermography. Dana and Darlene are both yoga specialists. And we just have a lot of information and a lot of love and energy want to give to you guys. So like I said, we've kind of teamed up together, and throughout the month of April, I'm going to be interviewing each one of them, including offering an interview that was done by me. It was kind of turning the tables, and allowing you guys to meet each and every one of these wonderful practitioners and see what they are able to offer you, and how they can help you on your health journey. So hopefully you guys are going to get a lot of information with regards to that, and that's where I'm going to leave it today. So have a wonderful day. If you guys have any issues about or any questions about immune health, immune foods, what I do for myself and my family with regards to our immune health. I know this is kind of a taboo thing now. Facebook is really kind of jumping on us when we start talking about stuff like this. So I haven't really been doing too many posts with regards to it. But know that this is what I do for a living. This is my passion. This is our passion as healthcare professionals. Whoever you trust, please reach out to them, because they are there for you right now. Many are offering their services for little to nothing right now, because we care. We care about your well-being. We care about making sure that you guys all stay safe during this crazy time. And yeah, this is what we're here for. Much love, guys. Stay safe and connect with the people closest to you. Wave to the people that you love that are not in your household, and we'll all be better for this on the other side. Take care.